If you've ever watched your kids step out of the box and thought, man, would you please just stand in there? This video is going to help you understand why they can't. And I'm going to give you 3 ways to actually fix it, because here's the deal. This is not a swing problem. This is a fear problem. And if you don't handle it the right way, it doesn't just go away, and it might get worse. Now, there are really 3 types of fear that I see in hitters. There's fear of pain, fear of failure, and fear of being overmatched. And in this video, we're going to be diving in and giving you strategies for how to handle that fear of pain. So this is one that shows up when kids step out of the box. Maybe they won't stand close enough to the plate, or they're really pulling off of inside pitches because they're just in the act of trying to get out of the way, and they just don't look comfortable in the box. So let me give you an example. I have got an 8-year-old who's about to go into his first season of Kid Pitch, and I already know he's going to get hit. They suck at throwing strikes, right? So instead of waiting for that to become an issue, here's how I'm getting ahead of it. And this is something I've done with his older 4 siblings, so I know it works. We do this in 3 different ways. Number 1 is in our daily life, we make sure that we have something we do every day that exposes him to some level of pain while he's having some level of fun. And what I found by asking parents about this is most parents don't intentionally build that into the structure of their kids' daily life. So for us, every time we go and hit, as an example, I will give them some kind of yoga ball acrobatic trick to learn, like a front handspring on a yoga ball. And guess what happens? A lot in the beginning when they try to do this stuff. They eat it, right? Like a lot. But they love it too. It's intrinsically challenging and they like the challenge. And I've got a mat down so they don't hurt themselves, but they do get the wind knocked out of themselves. So that's an example of a fun activity that's also exposing them to some pain tolerance building as well. Not to mention that acrobatic work does build something in the body called proprioception skills, which are your body's ability to know where it's at in space, and they're proven to really help kids have better contact. So we love it for that reason as well. Then the second thing we do is we want to make sure that we're building pain tolerance that's specific to the skill of hitting. So we use a drill called the hit or be hit drill, where what we do is we start by taking a bat sensor and we want to give the kid middle pitches and say, hey, how fast can you swing the bat with your A swing, right? Then once we know that number, I'll throw them another 10 pitches, but I'll tell them half of these are going to hit you and half of them aren't. And I'll start underhand, so it's a real simple, soft underhand flip, but the rule is simple. If it's a strike, you've got to swing within 3 miles an hour of your best swing. And if it's going to hit you, you have to stay in there and you have to roll into it. And what this does is it teaches them how to be aggressive first and protect yourself second, and it holds them accountable to if they were in the act of trying to get away when they did the swing, they won't be able to get it within 3 miles an hour, and we know that their brain wasn't in the right space. And that's the whole point, to teach them how to do that. And then we'll build it up, right? We start with those front flips, but then we'll go front flips with baseballs, then we'll go overhand foam balls, then we'll go overhand baseballs. We start soft until they build up the capacity to handle that pain and get more comfortable, and then we scale. And honestly, for most kids, this starts to go away pretty fast once they just get to the overhand foam balls, and we never even have to go to the baseballs. And then the third piece, and this one's important, we reward the behaviors that we want. And they do that 9 out of 10 times right, we go out for ice cream. If they go get hit in a game and they don't cry, we go out for ice cream. And if they don't get ice cream. There's no lecture, there's no speech, it's just a clear expectation where we built an environment that allows them to scale up so they build up their capacity, and then we reward them when they do it right. Because behaviors you reward are behaviors you get more of. Now here's something really interesting about this, where they've taken people in research and they've run them through pain tolerance tests, like having them stick their hand in really cold ice water where it really hurts, and they want to see how long they can keep it in there. Then they have the person do it again and again over multiple trials, and what they find is people across all types of pain tolerances get better at handling it the longer they do it and the more they repeat it. They can tolerate the pain longer, it doesn't end up feeling as bad, and their body doesn't react the same way, their emotions don't react the same way. And depending on the study you're talking about, you end up seeing anywhere from like a 20 to a 50% improvement in repeated exposure for how well people handle pain. So the goal isn't to avoid pain, it's to teach the kids how to get familiar with it in a structured way. And when you do that, you start seeing it show up in games and your kid starts to have confidence in the plate. So that same kid who used to step out starts staying in, and then they start hammering balls and having fun with this game, which is the whole point, right? Now, obviously, this is just one type of fear, like I mentioned earlier. The next one is fear of failure, and this is one that shows up with things like 2 strikes, or when your kid's worried about striking out, or they're worried about letting somebody down. And this is where things like self-talk actually matter, and you need to have some different strategies than the pain stuff when it comes to fear of pain. So if that sounds more like what your kid is having a problem with, check out this next video right here where I break down exactly how to handle that. And if I'm not done making that video yet, hit the subscribe button on my channel and you'll get notified when I release that video.